Greetings everyone, and welcome to our third installment of what I've decided to call Histories of Hymns, Stories of Songs. Today we will be looking at the hymn Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. Thank you for Brian Henderson for requesting this hymn. Once again, if you have a request, I've gotten a few requests. So if you have any requests, let me know in comments below the video. So Leaning on the Everlasting Arms, like many of the hymns we sing, was written by a couple of people, which is generally a composer for the tune and an author for the lyrics. Now the tune and lyrics for the refrain, as we'll discuss in a bit, were written by a man named Anthony Showalter, and the remainder of the lyrics were written by Elisha Hoffman. So before we get into the story of the hymn's origins, let's take a quick look at the men behind it. So first we'll look at Elisha Albright Hoffman, who lived from 1839 to 1929. His father was an evangelical minister, which influenced Elisha to go into ministry as well. He attended Union Seminary in New Berlin, Pennsylvania after high school, but his ordination as a Presbyterian minister was delayed for about 11 years. In that interim time, he served a brief 1-month stint with the Union Army during the Civil War, and afterward, he worked in the publishing branch of the Evangelical Association in Cleveland, Ohio for 11 years. He was finally ordained as a Presbyterian minister at the age of 34 in 1873. He served several churches in his pastoral career, his longest tenure being 33 years at Benton Harbor Presbyterian Church in Michigan. Now, though Hoffman never attended any type of music school, his time spent in church and at home as a child, singing sacred hymns, complemented a natural musical talent, especially for writing hymns, as he compiled and edited 50 songbooks and wrote over 2,000 gospel songs and hymns in his lifetime, including Are You Washed in the Blood, which would become a marching song for the Salvation Army. Now, Anthony Johnson Showalter lived from 1858 to 1924. He was trained in the Rubush-Kiefer School of Music, which is a school noted for teaching the shape note style of reading music, using shapes such as triangles and squares on notes to make it easier to sight read. Now these notes were used in conjunction with solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, so each shape represented a different note in the scale, and made it easier to sight read music. This style of teaching music was brought about in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina and became popular throughout much of the southeastern United States in the early 19th and early 20th centuries. And by the age of 14, Showalter was already teaching shape note singing and spent much of his life teaching it and writing literature on the subject of shape notes. Now, during his time teaching music while stationed in Hartselle, Alabama, Showalter received 2 letters from 2 of his former pupils. Written in these letters was the news that each one had suffered the same tragedy of suddenly losing his wife. As he wrote back to each one to console them, Showalter found inspiration in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27, which reads, "The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms." As he was writing the letters, Showalter thought about the biblical text. He became inspired to write the music and the refrain that would become the hymn we know today, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. Upon completing the letters of consolation to his former students, Showalter wrote to Elisha Hoffman, asking him to write the remaining lyrics to the hymn, and the collaborative pair completed the hymn and published it in 1887. Now, as well as being a very popular hymn in our churches, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms has been used in the soundtracks of multiple movies and TV shows, probably most notably in the most recent version, 2010, of True Grit, starring Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon. The hymn provides the basis for the theme for 14-year-old girl Maddie, who is pretty much the main character who drives the story, and about a quarter of the film's soundtrack is based on the hymn. I'd like to conclude this video with a singing of the hymn, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. I will have it scrolling up here in a moment, so if you would like to sing along, please feel free. If you want to just listen, that's okay too. just thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms.
And that's all I have for Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it kind of piqued my interest researching it into the movie True Grit. I haven't actually seen it. So I'm probably going to, I did put it on our Netflix, so we'll check that out soon. And thank you. So again, if you like the video, leave a like. If you have a request for a hymn or a song, now I do want to do some contemporary songs as well in this series. So if there's a particular contemporary song or a hymn, leave a comment and let me know. Thank you very much, and God bless.